Hey everyone, today I wanted to go over a topic that has been the age-old question of many students, and that is, how do you correctly memorize jazz standards and get it to last? In today's video, I'll show you how to put in the work so that you never forget a tune after you learn it. Let's check it out now. The process of learning songbook tunes has been a source of struggle for many students that study jazz. There are just so many tunes, and it seems impossible to remember them all. What I want to talk about today is the process that I use, and that I also teach to my students, to memorize jazz standards. Now, this isn't a shortcut or a hack to learning tunes. In fact, it'll probably take you a little bit longer to learn tunes this way, but you'll be able to retain the knowledge that you learned and be able to learn tunes faster in the future. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is take your real book and burn it. Well, you don't have to burn it, but I want you to stop relying on it. What learning tunes out of the real book does is it makes your ears weak and makes you rely on your sight. You can't always have a real book in front of you, so it's best to rip that band-aid off now. Trust me, you'll be happier in the long run. What you want to do is to start using your ear to learn tunes. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that you need to sit down at either a piano or a guitar and listen to the bass notes of whatever tune that you're learning. Here's a couple tips that might help when learning tunes by ear. Tip number 1, it takes time. You might only be able to hear 1 or 2 bass notes when you first start. For the chords that you don't get, make sure to either ask your teacher or mentor or look at a chord chart. Then each time you do this, you'll be able to hear 1 more chord than before, and you'll be able to hear chord progressions instead of just being able to hear each single chord by itself. Using ear training apps can help as well. I'll leave a link to some below in the description of this video. Tip number 2, listen to the bass notes first and then figure out what kind of chord it is. You don't need to know if it's major or minor or dominant right off the bat. All you need to know is if the bass is playing C or G, for example. Then, once you figure out what bass note the bass player is playing over that spot, try playing different chord types just over that one spot that you learned. Once you think you have it, again, try checking it with your teacher or mentor or from a chord chart. The next thing you need to do is learn the melody. If the tune you're learning is a songbook tune, meaning it comes from the Great American Songbook, make sure to always start with a vocal version of the song that you're learning. It's important to know the lyrics or syllables to a song, so that way when you're playing it, you don't miss that when you're performing it on your instrument. Try to listen to as many different recordings of the tune as you can. Not only will this get the melody in your ear, but you'll be able to have a better understanding of what the original melody actually is, as many people change or embellish the melody. For example, let's compare Ella Fitzgerald's version of Just One of Those Things to Frank Sinatra's version. You'll find both of them sing the melody slightly differently. If you learn 2 different versions of the melody, like how Ella sings it and how Frank sings it, then you can combine them together and get a more complete idea and understanding of the melody. Also, make sure to check that the tune you're learning has a Broadway version. Many of these recordings are sung exactly how they're written on the score. I'll leave links to all these videos in the description. Next, you want to transpose it. This means that you move the song into different keys. Now, when I first started doing this, it was very painful. But as with anything else, the more times you do it, the easier it gets. Try thinking of the chords as Roman numerals. So if you saw the chords A minor 7, E flat dominant 7, D dominant 7, and G major 7, first I'd figure out what key those chords are in, and then I'd compare them back to that key. In this case, we're in G, so the Roman numerals would be 2 minor 7, flat 6 dominant 7, 5 dominant 7, and then finally 1 major 7. Now that you have the Roman numerals, you can move this progression to any key that you want. So if we move this to the key of C major, you just have to compare the notes again back to the Roman numerals. So this progression in C major would be D minor 7, A flat dominant 7, G dominant 7, and finally C major 7. The final thing that you want to do to help you memorize tunes is to play with others. If you only learn a tune by yourself and never play it with anyone, you'll most likely forget it after a couple weeks. The tunes that people remember forever are the ones that they play with people a lot. Try to find musicians that learn the same kind of songs and styles that you like to play. This can be done through jam sessions, either in person or virtually, as well as colleges or institutions. Plus, it's just fun to play music with other people. Of course, remember to social distance if there's a pandemic going on. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this lecture style of video, let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe so I can continue making content for you in the future. Also, check out my social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, to keep up to date with the latest content that I'm putting out. Thanks again for watching, and remember to always keep swinging.